Hello, this is Patrick at OneCNC West, and what we're going to do in this tip of the day is take a look at the OneCNC XR6 traditional pocket machining. There's been some great enhancements in regards to this, and so I'd like to demonstrate a couple of those. All right, so let's get started. So here we have a part and we have a pocket right here, and what I'm going to do is just use traditional machining to machine this. I've already applied the tool path, but let's take a look inside and show you what I've done here. This is just a 1/2 inch diameter end mill. Speeds and feeds all look the same. We have a pocket depth of minus 250 thousandths. Now I'm using traditional, and we click next, and we're going to talk about this lift between cuts in just a second, but for now just know that I'm using a ramp helix to approach. I'm going to spiral outwards and we're going to climb cut. And then this is the first big thing right here is notice that I have a step over of 95%. In previous versions of OneCNC, the recommended maximum step over was about 65 to 70%. With XR6, you can now use a 95% step over. And in fact, in some cases, you can actually go higher than that. So here we go. You can see it's at 95. We'll just click next, and we'll let it generate the toolpath there. So if we were to simulate this, let's go into our simulate. We're going to use the stock model for that, and we'll click OK, and let's speed this up just a little bit. So here we go. We can see we've ramp helixed into the pocket, but the important thing is that with that big step over, you'll notice that there's no cusps or any trailing islands that have been left over, and that is a huge enhancement within XR6. In previous versions, if we go to XR5 for example, here's the exact same part, and if we take a look at our pocketing operation, and I'm using the same diameter end mill, you can see I'm using a 1/2 inch diameter, and our depth's the same. We're using traditional ramp helix into the pocket, spiral outwards, climb cut, and I have 95% here as well. So if I let this generate the toolpath, and if we were to simulate this, and again, we're going to use that stock option, so we'll click OK. You can see that based upon the shape and using that big of a step over in previous versions of OneCNC could leave a cusp or a trailing island, and that's just not the case now within OneCNC XR6. Another thing I want to point out is that within XR6 you can now have a much nicer surface finish on the pocket floor. And let me demonstrate how that's accomplished. So we're going to go back in here. We'll edit the operation. And let's head over here. And notice there's an option now called lift between cuts of last depth. Now, whenever we're making concentric passes like this, the tool has to move from one pass to another. In other words, from one concentric pass to another concentric pass, it has to make this movement here. Well, in the past, the tool just fed across the floor of the pocket. That would leave like a diagonal trace along the bottom of the pocket showing where the tool repositioned itself. Well, now with this lift between cuts, let me show you what this does. This will actually take the tool and pull it up and away from the bottom of the pocket. In fact, let's backplot this and zoom in. Okay, so here's a good example here. What's happened is after the tool has made its pass, it's lifted up, it's fed over, and then it's ramped down, and then it's going to engage right there at the very beginning of that next pass. And when that pass is finished, the tool is going to move up, it's going to move over, and then it's going to ramp down to reposition itself. And so what this does is this effectively alleviates those transition marks between one concentric pass to another. Now this option is also available within the face milling. In fact, let me demonstrate that for you really fast. I'm just going to go into facing. I'm going to use this pocket profile just so we can get inside the dialog boxes here. But as I click through this, let's just push a feed rate in. As we click through this, you'll see that same option is here too, lift between cuts on last depth. So you'll have that same nice feature within your facing as well. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.